Hey everybody, welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers, and it's time for Rockin Robbie Live. That's right, it's the weekly live chat, live stream, whatever you want to call it, that we do here. How is everybody doing? Once you're in the room, let me know that you're here. Let me know who you are, and we can start chatting about comic books, all that, and more. We will be talking about last week's comics, we'll be talking about this week's comics, and we will be having a giant spoiler-filled discussion of House of X and Powers of 10. So I'm very excited to do that. This book has been phenomenal. What's up, C3 Comics? How are you doing? What's up, Adam? What's up, Monty? How are y'all doing? I'm very excited to have this conversation finally. So I will, we're not there yet. We're going to do our typical start, but we are going to get into a spoiler zone for House of X and Powers of 10. So I hope everybody's had a great weekend. I have had a great, supremely awesome weekend because how about them Cowboys? That's right. The Cowboys came out strong today and defeated the Giants, and very handedly, at least in my opinion. It was super, super fun to watch. Any Giants fans out there, I'm sorry. But as a Cowboys fan, I'm super, super excited. Also a big Yankees fan here. So right now, the Yankees are starting a game against the Red Sox on ESPN. So that's what's on the little screen down there. If you see me look a little bit distracted, that might be the reason why. But welcome here for Rockin Robbie Live. Here on a Sunday night. Very excited to be here. What's up, Adam? Your Jaguars are trash. Oh, man. I didn't pay too much attention to any of the other games that were on today. Too much, really. I know that the Lions beat the Cardinals, and the Buccaneers lost, right? I saw that. But I really just watched that Cowboys game. I was exhilarated. It was awesome. We scored on 5 straight drives, touchdowns. On 5 straight drives, which is like... That hasn't happened since 2000, apparently. So that's very, very exciting. But right now, the Yankees are about to start against the Red Sox on ESPN. If anybody wants to tune in. What's up, Dodora? How are you doing? What's up, Nelson? Reppin' PCP Army. Fitting to go to Jacksonville and play for our defense because they couldn't stop a dead turtle. Man, I want to put a hole in the wall. That's unfortunate. Who do they play? What happened? Browns got smashed today, Dylan said. It's a tough one. Tough one for Cleveland fans, right? Anyway, tonight we're going to start off with the way that we usually do here. What was your pick of the week last week? Mine was Something is Killing the Children, #1. I absolutely loved that. So, share your laments and or celebrations over today's first NFL Sunday of the year. And let me know what your favorite comic book of last week was. Let's get the conversation going. I mean... I was so excited about my Cowboys. Last night, though, that Auburn game was not near as easy as I thought it should be. And it made me kind of nervous. It made me nervous about the season. But, it's just the way that it is. Adam says his pick of the week was Batman Ninja Turtles, Volume 3, number 5. I've been loving that book. It's been so fun. So James Tynion's been doing these books, and I really, really liked the first one, and I loved the second one, with Bane. How do you top those, right? Like, how do you keep that consistency alive? And they found a way to do it. Absolutely. Because using all the ideas of the DC Crisis mythology, and putting that in and using like Kevin Eastman to come in and draw the original Raphael and the original Turtles. It was awesome. I'm loving it so much. Crisis in a Half Shell. I still haven't seen the Batman TMNT movie, though Brooks assures me that it's really, really good. I still haven't checked that out. But I hope that they do another, and I hope they do a third one so that they can do Crisis in a Half Shell, because it's amazing. Dylan said he just did a review on Something is Killing the Children, best comic of the week, in his opinion as well. I loved it. I thought it was a great mystery, though, I mean, obviously it's not too much of a mystery, right? But just a great introduction to some of the characters. It was very atmospheric. I loved the dialogue. It flowed very well. The layouts, the composition of that stuff. The artwork, which is Werther Della Dera, something like that, was fantastic. That coloring, Miguel something, I can't remember right now off the top of my head, but I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a masterpiece, first issue. I thought it was so good. Batman versus Ra's al Ghul. Let me tell you something about that one. Ismail, how are you doing? I totally thought I had that in my stack, and then I wound up not having it. And I kind of forgot about it till I went to the store the next day, and I was like, oh, man, Somehow I didn't read Batman versus Ra's al Ghul. Though I wasn't that disappointed because, to be honest with you, I haven't really liked Neil Adams' work in the last, 10 to 15 years or something like that. But you say it's the pick of the week. That's cool. I'll definitely have to check it out because he is such an important figure in the history of Batman. And not just Neil Adams, but Ra's al Ghul as well, right? And I will say Ra's al Ghul forever. Dallas fixing to either go to the Super Bowl or at the very least NFC Championship game. This could be their year. I hope so. We all have a lot of expectation this year. I don't think the Giants are the strongest team though. But I like the new look of things. I like the new offensive coordinator. It seemed to work right. Dak has gotten a lot more confidence, it seems. I like some of the new pieces. I think his name is Cobb. Came over from Green Bay. Really like that. And of course, Witten's back. Witten. My boy Witten. You see, I got my Cowboys pops behind me. Only one of them is an active player. Yeah. Anyway, what's up? Yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to do well this year as well. Good week for comics, Nelson says. House of X number 4 was the pick of the week. Then Something is Killing the Children, Justice League, Fantastic Four, Deceased, and Crowded. Fantastic comic books. I'm loving Crowded. Crowded's really good. I don't think Crowded's getting as much attention or recognition as it should. I think it's Sabella's some of his best work. I love the flow. I love the artwork. It's a very wordy comic book. It's incredibly dense and verbose, but it really has a nice flow, and it's action-packed, and it's a really cool concept that's easily translatable into other media if anybody ever wanted to do that. Flow of the week? Do you mean flop of the week? I did not like Legion of Superheroes Millennium number 1. It was just a big thing about Rose and Thorn. And I've never been the most interested in Rose and Thorn, and that's where Bendis has taken the entire direction of Action Comics. I guess leading into this, I don't know, man. Bendis' work at DC right now, not all of it. I really am liking the creator-owned stuff. I thought Cover was excellent. I love Naomi. I'm enjoying Young Justice. His Superman stuff started strong and decent for me. It started solid. Maybe I won't go so far as to say strong, but it started solid, and it's really starting to weaken for me. What's up, Hamburger Basket? Pick of the week was Spawn 300. I'm going to tell you this. I typically do not like Spawn. I read it, and I didn't hate it. So to me, that's high praise. I thought it was pretty decent. Arizona came back? Whoa, that's dope. My girls right now is about to be watching her Steelers play without Antonio Brown. Wasn't that stuff all crazy? Roman Ritual from Amigo. I have not checked that one out. I haven't checked out much stuff from Amigo Comics. I'll definitely have to look into it. I know they exist. That's about as far as my knowledge is right now. Checking out the new mall. What are you talking about, Bakari? Are you talking about the Scout one that comes out this week? Or are you talking about the Vault Comics one? I remember reading the Scout Comics one, the Free Comic Book Day one, and thinking it was decent, but I've never gotten a chance to check out the rest of the series. It's got a new issue out this week, but the Vault Comics one I really do like. I like a lot. They're both two completely different stories with pretty much the same name. Heck yeah. What's up, Logan? How are you doing? Crowded would be a great movie. I think it'd be a better TV show, right? It'd be cool to extend that out. That'd be really neat. Spawn 300 seemed like a cool jumping off point for new fans. I think you mean jumping on point. I get what you're saying, but that's funny. At first, when I first read that, Hamburger, I thought that you were saying this is a good jumping off point for old fans. Now, I was kind of intrigued by the whole idea about his power counter finally running out, and apparently they've done some tricksy things with that over the years. I don't know. I haven't read 290 issues of that series, or two, yeah. But Aaron Judge is up, so I get distracted by Aaron Judge. I'll tell you that. But All Rise. But what was I talking about? See what happens. Oh, Spawn. I thought it was good. What else was I saying? Yeah, I love Bendis on the Wonder Comics. Everything else I'm dropping or about to drop. I can understand that. I can get behind that. His Superman stuff has really started waning on me. I'm not excited about Event Leviathan at all. It's kind of boring to me. Like from the get-go. I just like the artwork. I don't know. The dialogue is good too, but... Logan says, besides House of X, Something is Killing the Children is my pick. That Frisson cover is sick. It is. That was a really nice cover. I had to get the cover A myself, though, because I really, really like that really bold title that goes across. Here's a question. Did anybody check out Going to the Chapel? I think Going to the Chapel was one of the best debuts of the year. Like, I almost feel bad that Something is Killing the Children came out the same week. Going to the Chapel is amazing. David Pepose is the writer and co-creator of Spencer and Locke, which is like Calvin and Hobbes meets Sin City. And it's a really cool, fun comic. I really like it. I like it a lot. Going to the Chapel is taking his craft up to the next level. It's very concise. It's very engineered. It's got a very, like, just fast pace to it. And it's something that, this is something that instantaneously kind of like hits you. And it works. And it would work. I think the story and the concept is so strong on this one, it could work across all media, I think. I loved it, though. Bakari is talking about the Scout one. I haven't checked it out yet. I've only checked out that free Comic Book Day one. We did not have any interest at my shop with Scout Comics, and I've kind of been few and far in between. Then Adem Kamil reached out to me. He's the writer of Category Zero, and that was one of my first introductions into Scout. You know, I like I said, I read them all and all that stuff, but when he reached out to me, and offered me to do an advanced review of Category Zero, you know, of course, I jumped at the chance. I wanted to support indie creators and check out what they're doing. But I really liked it, and Adem is such a cool guy. He's actually a patron here on the show. Speaking of which, his name lies right there. But that was like my first one, and now I'm starting to check out more stuff. And now we're making sure that we order some more stuff. And it's, you know, a lot of people will come into the shop and they're wanting the new stuff. We have a lot of people in the shop right now, like super excited about X-Men and Carnage and Justice League and other things like that. And like the Harley Quinn, Ivy stuff, and that new Harley Quinn young readers novel or whatever they did, which Stephen Pugh's artwork in that looks really freaking good. Holy cow. But anyway, so it's hard to get people to want to commit to that when they're already committing so much to other stuff. But if you get a chance, read Going to the Chapel. It's amazing. And yeah, I'm definitely making more of a point now for the channel and for my own profession at my store to look more into Scout Comics and Source Point Press. Mad Cave's doing some good stuff. My homie Jay has got a book coming out from there. Very excited. It's is it Off the Ropes, On the Ropes, something like that? It comes out in December. It's about wrestling, professional wrestling in the 90s. I was like, yeah, dude, you got me right there. I'm down. But anyway, David Hatch is here. The party can start. The party can start. Legion of Superheroes Millennium #1. Nothing is explained. Are we supposed to believe that Tommy Tomorrow, and Legion of Superheroes all happen in the same Earth? I call BS. We were always meant to believe that Commandy happened in the same universe, the same reality as Legion of Superheroes, as far as I'm aware, because my boss at the shop, the owner of the shop, was like talking to me. He's like, I thought that was weird that Commandy happens and then Legion of Superheroes happen. And I'm like, I thought it was always that way. Of course, I have just reread Crisis on Infinite Earths, so to me it makes sense because in there they mention, Legion does, that Commandy is from their past or something like that. Yeah, I didn't think about that either. I thought it was like so far off, but it is set and apparently, you know, in continuity. Of course, everything's up in the air right now, post Doomsday Clock, whenever that eventually happens. Let's take bets right now. Is Doomsday Clock finished before the end of the year? I think it will come out on the very last Wednesday of this year, or it will be next year. More than likely next year. What do y'all think? I really did like Naomi appearing at the end of that Action Comics, but I mean, I don't know. The rest of the book didn't do anything for me. That's just me, though. What's up, Joel? Yo, Mountainhead was sick. Mountainhead was great. I loved that issue. I got an early look at that one from John, and it was absolutely fantastic. I did an advanced review for it. I was so excited when it came out. My shop sold out initially, and now we're almost sold out of our second order of it. So I'm very excited about that. I think it's a great comic book. I think it's visceral, and it had a lot of shocks and surprises, and I'm looking forward to more. That's the writer of Sync, and I haven't checked that one out, but I need to. I almost backed their Kickstarter and got the 2 volumes, but I didn't because I wound up backing, Hey Amateur, which is like this big, giant anthology. A bunch of creators coming together to do 1-page, 9-panel grid explanations on how to do things, whether it's like real and practical or just silly and fun. I'm very excited about that one. It got fully funded, and it should be on its way in a little while. So I'm very excited about that one. But anyway, welcome, David Hatch. I really do appreciate you being here. What's up, S Squared? How are you doing? Is that something I should read, Robbie? I'm so far behind. What were we talking about? If we were talking about going to the chapel, absolutely. 0 sightings on going to the chapel. David, how lucky are you that you got to go to a comic shop that had going to the chapel there for you? That sucks. That sucks to hear. It's because it's from Action Lab, and typically they're the company that does stuff like Zombie Tramp and things like that, but they have some other books, but I think it's because of the publisher. Yeah, it didn't get a lot of look at a lot of other shops, but let them know because it's something they should still be able to order. I was able to reorder it a couple times. So let your shop know that you want it, and they should be able to get it, hopefully. If not, go online because it's really good. I thought it was really good. It's like if Quentin Tarantino did a romantic comedy. It's Die Hard at a wedding. It's really cool. It's really fun. I have not watched Titans Season 2, Episode 1 yet. I know. It's been a busy weekend. We're in the middle of production on Comics Revisited Season 2, which reminds me to go ahead and say Comics Revisited returns this Thursday with an episode, What If the Avengers Had Never Been? It's going to be me and Brooks talking about What If number 3, the original one from back in the 70s, and it's going to be the first video y'all see with Brooks' haircut. So, that's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. Anyway, we're in the middle of all that, so it's been a busy weekend. Getting ready for this Aliens podcast. We had to delay that. Me and Brooks I had a mess up on, we had a technical malfunction during filming of an episode of Comics Revisited, so we had to redo that, so we had to push back the podcast. And then I got another Comics Revisited episode to record tomorrow night, so I had to get ready for that one after doing the other one 2 times. So it's been a little hectic this week, and I haven't had a chance to check out the new episode of Titans, but Titans is back, Season 2. I'm very excited. I hear good things. About it. Oh, thank you, David. I wasn't fishing for that, but thank you. David, have you had a chance to read it yet? S Squared, I'm right there with you. Weird's ending was great. I really hope they do a book 2. Sales seem to be pretty low, and some of the response seemed a bit negative online about the series, but I really thought it was good. I thought Kurt Pyers did a great job. I think he's got a higher profile book, though, coming up on the horizon when they do Olympia. I'm very excited for that one. Nelson, potential spoiler for Pox. We're all calling it Hoxpox. It's kind of funny to me. Potential spoiler for Powers of 10. I'm reading Annihilation Conquest Omnibus to read up on the Phalanx, and it's great. Just finished the Star-Lord mini. I've never read Annihilation Conquest. I've only read Annihilation. I need to read Annihilation Conquest. Is there more about the Phalanx on that? Because what I remember about them, I was like, I feel like Hickman is taking this to a level it hasn't been brought to yet. So I don't know. But I'm very excited to know more about that. Me and Brooks had a conversation where both of us need to go back and read a lot about the Phalanx. By the way, pretty soon we're going to be getting into spoiler territory for House of X and Powers of 10. Not too long from now, we're about to be taking a look at this upcoming week's new comics, but then we're having a nice spoiler-filled discussion about these 2 awesome Hickman titles. I'm very excited. John Romita Jr.'s art is so good on Superman Year One. I agree. I think the story is okay, but the artwork is solid. I've always been a fan of Romita. So earlier in my life, I wasn't always the biggest fan, but I learned to be a fan of him. I started understanding and respecting more about comic book art, I guess, and he really just started blowing me away. I think he's one of the best out there. Too busy bagging and boarding comics and organizing them. Who has time to read anymore? That's right, David. You got to make time. Brett, what's up? Brett said he just signed up for the PCP Army's Black Ops program. Training starts in 2 weeks. That's funny. I will remind you that the PCP Army is the Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. So if you're on Facebook, you can hop on over and join the PCP Army. We have our polls there, like audience choice picks for things like Comics Revisited and movie reviews and stuff like that. In fact, we're doing a movie review on Darkman and Spawn because of the PCP Army. So very excited about that. Right now, actively, we have a poll going on for the audience pick for Comics Revisited Season 2. So an entire episode, what we talk about gets picked by the fans over at the PCP Army. So check out that. Real fun stuff. I love the artwork on Silver Surfer Black. Tradmore is a beast. And as David says, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us out around here. And we're nearing 5,000 subscribers, everybody. We're getting very, very close. We're going to have a really cool contest when it happens, I should say. So share the channel. Let's spread the gospel of PCP. Well, thank you, Bakari. It's there and open. I'm not understanding what you're talking about, Kanye. I think, Hickman is... I wouldn't say Hickman is prolific because he doesn't really do a lot of consistent work, like meaning that he doesn't... It's not always the most, I don't know. But he's one of my favorites. I mean, Hickman is one of my favorite current active writers, for sure. I like Jason Aaron a lot, too. Like the Borg from Star Trek. Speaking of which, it's the anniversary of Star Trek. So that's super cool. Super cool. Jean Grey Onslaught. That's a really cool action figure. It's got Juggernaut in the gem in the crystal. That's a cool action figure. One of the first action figures where Jean was in that 90s costume. Steelers are going. Let's go. Go Steelers, Alicia. That's for you. My Cowboys won, so I hope your team wins as well. Not everybody's team won, though, it seems like today. You know why I like you people? You all don't judge me for having too many comics. Only silently, David. No, I'm just kidding. We all have too many comics, don't we? But is there such a thing? Concentrating on the actual X-Men book. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen when that happens. So we're about to start taking a look at this upcoming week's new comics. See what we're all excited for. Of course, my crazy thumbs just completely messed it up. So while I get this looked at, I will remind you yet again, Comics Revisited took a week off this week, but we're back this upcoming Thursday. What if the Avengers had never been? Looking at a classic What If tale. And very fun video. And like I said, Brooks's first video with his haircut. Red Sox got a man on first. Score still 0-0. Let's start with Dark Horse. I always say, let's start with Dark Horse. Like I'm picking it randomly. It's always first, so that's what I do. Black Hammer Justice League number 3 is out this week. It's been a fun little crossover. I like it. Jeff Lemire is unstoppable, it feels like right now. And Orville, number 3, Word of Avis, is out this week. From IDW, we've got Kanto number 4. I love Kanto. That's such a fun book. Hits my heartstrings perfectly. Very excited to see that one. There's a new one called Pandemica, out this week from IDW. Star Wars Adventures number 25. Starcadia Quest number 1. That's a new one. And a second printing of Usagi Yojimbo #1. From Dynamite, Chastity #1. The Chaos Stuff returns. Death Defying Devil has some special covers out. Nothing new. Red Sonja #8. Yep, there you go. That's Dynamite. Next, we'll go to Boom. From Boom Studios, we've got a fourth printing of Once and Future #1. That's funny. Ghosted in LA #3. I love that book. That was really cool. Go-Go Power Rangers #23. Book keeps getting better. Ronin Island #6. And that is out. And an original graphic novel, Rugrats, Building Blocks. That's out from Boom this week. Boom does some really great all ages, middle ages type stuff like that. That's some of the smaller presses. Let's see some of the others. Let's see. Archie, Married Life, 10th Anniversary #2 out this week from Aftershock. We got Baby Teeth #16. Probably the most overlooked Donny Cates book on the shelves right now. Dark Age 2 from Red 5 Comics. Ignited #4 is out this week. Livewire #10 from Scout Comics. Midnight Sky #1. I believe that one had like a teaser or something for Free Comic Book Day. And Sabrina the Teenage Witch #5 is the final issue of the Kelly Thompson miniseries. That's some of the exciting comics coming out. We'll look at Image, DC, and Marvel here in just a second. What's up, One God Tank? Yeah, Green Bay with a win, barely. It's a low-scoring game. Nelson says, according to my wife, I have too many comics. Yep. Damn, David, that's a terrible thing to say. Yeah, Joel, Canto's awesome. Yeah, there's going to be a new Joker from Jeff Lemire. Very excited about that one. That drops in October, doesn't it? Where is the Three Jokers book? Being made. If Jeff Johns is attached to it, do not expect it to come out anytime soon. Unfortunately. You would hope that this thing was teased in 2016, y'all. This is 3 years. Like 3.5. So when they do explain it, I'm excited. I'm still excited. You know, the highest performing video on this channel is my theory about the Three Jokers, and we still don't know if that theory holds, you know, because we don't have an explanation yet. I have to know who else shed a tear for House of X #4. It was really fun. But it was, yeah. But having ideas about what's to come, and we're going to be getting to that here in just a minute. I don't know if the Harley Quinn book's going to be super promising. I don't know. I have to see. I actually got an early look at it, but I haven't checked it out yet. So I'll have to get back on you with that next week. Never big on X-Men, but loving Hickman. You know, David Hatch never really read X-Men comics either until just now. So I hope he's enjoying them. I don't think... David, have you read them yet? Canto's been great from the start. David Boer knows exactly what he's doing there. Nelson is most excited for these books this week. Daredevil 11, 5 Years 4, King Thor 1, Miles Morales 10, Powers of 10 #4, and Silver Surfer Black #4. Which will hit shelves first? Doomsday Clock 12, Three Jokers 1, or Miracle Man 24? David, my pick is in this order. Doomsday Clock 12, Three Jokers 1, Miracle Man 24. That's the order I think is going to happen. Something is Killing the Children was great. Super great. So we're about to look at what's coming up from Image, DC, and Marvel. But I will remind you that we're going to be getting into spoiler territory after that, where we'll be talking about House of X, Powers of 10, a discussion amongst all of us about what we think is going on, what's happening. And it's going to be filled with spoilers, so I hope you're caught up. Anyway, so let's check out what's coming out from Image Comics this week. I know there's a new issue of Analog. That's right, Analog #8 is out this week. Beauty #29, Coffin Bound #2. I got an early look at that. It's awesome. You need to check it out. Gagor #5 is out this week. Hit Girl Season 2 #8. Isola #9. Kick-Ass #17. Man Eaters #11. The penultimate issue, I believe. Oblivion Song 19. Outer Darkness 10, which I hear I need to catch up on. That and Outpost Zero. Postal Deliverance number 3. Rat Queens 18. Big week for Image right here. Sonata number 4. I'm loving Sonata. Thumbs number 4. I'm loving Thumbs. 2 thumbs up for Thumbs. Trees returns with 3 Fates number 1. Unearthed number 3 is out this week. A fantastic week from Image. From DC Comics this week. Batman 78. You know, they say that what happened in the last issue was meant to just kind of be like a falsity, like, you know, it wasn't like, oh, just kidding, you know, that kind of a thing. Remember, Psycho Pirate is involved in the Batman story right now, okay? I will say that. But some rumors have come out saying that DC has since changed their mind because of the reaction to what happened. That'd be interesting, huh? Actually let it ride for a while. But it still didn't actually happen. Remember, Psycho Pirate is involved in this story. Batman and the Outsiders number 5 is out this week. Batman Universe number 3, Catwoman number 15, Collapser number 3, Detective Comics 1011, Event Leviathan number 4, a book where a bunch of people are probably going to be standing around and talking a lot. Gotham City Monsters number 1, Flash 78, Hawkman 16, House of Whispers number 13, Justice League Odyssey, J-Lo number 13 out this week, Riddler, the Year of the Villain one-shot out this week, Wonder Twins number 7, Wonder Twins Returns. I'm loving that book. Wonder Woman 78 and Young Justice returns with issue number 8. DC's got a big week. What's up with all these big comic weeks? Where am I getting the info from? Right now I'm on previews. I'm on Diamond. From Marvel Comics this week. Absolute Carnage, Symbiote of Vengeance. That's right, it's a Ghost Rider symbiote tie-in. It's going to deal with Alejandra. Very excited about that. They're probably going to go ahead and kill her off and make way for Danny and Johnny and Robbie. Maybe not. We'll see what happens. Maybe there are too many Ghost Riders, though. Maybe this is a perfect opportunity to have the death of one of them. But who knows? Absolute Carnage versus Deadpool number 2 is out this week. Age of Conan, Valeria number 2. Amazing Spider-Man number 29. Black Cat number 4, Captain Marvel number 10, Daredevil number 11, Doctor Strange number 19, a second printing of Fantastic Four number 12 with a really cool Declan Shalvey cover. Looks great. Gwenpool Strikes Back number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Prodigal Son number 1, Immortal Hulk Director's Cut number 3, Invisible Woman number 3, Invaders number 9, Ironheart number 10. Is that the final issue? I think it might be, at least for a while. King Thor number 1, starting the very final miniseries of Jason Aaron's Thor. 4-issue miniseries. Loki number 3 is out this week. Miles Morales Spider-Man number 10. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in that book because it looks like the Ultimate Green Goblin is back. And maybe they'll finally address the lingering question of what happened officially to the Ultimate Universe and the Ultimate Spider-Man and Goblin. Moon Knight Annual number 1. Powers of 10, number 4. Punisher Kill Crew, number 2. Silver Surfer Black, number 4. This is a big comic book week. Star Wars, Age of Resistance. Supreme Leader Snoke, a one-shot. Swordmaster, number 3 is out this week. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, 48. Venom, number 18. Lots of rumblings about this one. That Immortal wraparound variant cover is super sweet. And that's the comic books coming out this week. What are you most excited for? Me? Thumbs. I love Thumbs. Thumbs is one of my favorite comic books of the week. I mean, of the year, I should say. Yankees, Boston still tied at 0. Goblin is back indeed. Marvel did drop heat all summer long. What's up, Reggie? How are you doing? Someone just hit a home run. That was the Yankees. Who was that? Torres. Heck yeah. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, the Yankees are playing the Red Sox right now. Yankees are up 2-0. And speaking of sports, how about them Cowboys? Anyway, very excited. We're about to be getting into some fun discussion about House of X, Powers of 10. So I will warn you that there are about to be spoilers about all of this stuff, but we're going to have a lot of fun discussing theories and what we think is going on. So I'm about to take a bathroom break. While I do that, do remember that when I come back, we're getting into spoiler territory for House of X and Powers of 10. David, you're funny. Right now it's Dak Prescott. Yes, Nelson, we can go ahead and start with the story, with the spoilers. That's right, everybody. We're about to get into spoiler territory for House of X, Powers of 10. We're like, a little beyond midpoint of the series, so it's a good time to go ahead and start laying some things out because we've had some craziness happen in pretty much every single issue. Nelson, you're a Blue Jays fan. That's super cool. That's not embarrassing. I remember hating the Blue Jays back in the day because they always beat the Braves. All right, so the first page of House of X number 1. Yeah, Jay, they all died in that last issue, didn't they? And once again, like we said, there are spoilers here for House of X and Powers of 10. I don't want anybody to be confused. So the first thing I really want to say is that there's a tip jar down there. You can join in and support us financially by giving us money over there at that tip jar if you feel so inclined. Of course, just watching the videos, participating in these live streams, liking, sharing, and all that stuff. And once again, hit that thumbs up button. All that is, of course, support enough. But if you want to go a little bit extra and beyond, you can tip us here on the live streams, or you can join us over at patreon.com/PCP and join super cool, excitable members of the PCP army like David, Alex, David, Adem, Shamaro, Cinnamon, Nelson, Brian, Dean, Jason, Joe, and Brian, right? Fantastic stuff. iPhone of X comes out Tuesday. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So one of the first things I want to say about House of X Powers of 10 is this. So let's get on to the, I don't know why, this microphone is bothering me right now. So, okay, Moira has all these different lives, right? We still don't know what the 6th life is, right? We didn't know until the last issue of Powers of 10 why the 9th life hadn't ended yet when we first saw that initial timeline in, what was that, House of X number 2? So now we know that Hickman is not against the idea of showing us things that we think are now in this reality and not, right? We thought we were checking out the future of this timeline, but we were checking out the future of another timeline. And now I'm going to change the word timeline with life. Speaking about Moira's mutant ability to be able to die and basically reincarnate back in and relive the life and be able to affect change and change reality, right? That's basically what's happening. Because are they leading us to believe that she's creating alternate realities, or is this one reality that keeps getting overwritten every time Moira dies? Of course, Destiny tells her that she will have 10 lives, possibly. Remember, this is all possibly because this is what Destiny saw. 10 lives, 11 if you make the right choice. The books that start in October, the Dawn of X stuff, Hickman's X-Men, then all the other books like Excalibur, New Mutants, Fallen Angels, Marauders, all that stuff, right? I think that is all 11th Life. I think that is glaringly obvious now at the end of House of X number 4, in which they kill a bunch of X-Men. Now, we know that we don't see Nightcrawler and Archangel in the upcoming X-Men books. So maybe they're dead, or maybe their deaths will stand in the next 11th Life. Or maybe they're just not shown yet to add confusion and an element of surprise to what's happening in Powers of 10 House of X right now, right? Anyway, so I think that right now what we're reading in House and right now in House is Life 10 for certain, okay? Maybe Powers is about to take a shift into the 6th Life, but as it stands right now, I think Moira's 6th Life is all the X-Men comic books that we've always read. Get it? I think so. That's what I think. I think all the X-Men books that we've read growing up, whether it was from the 60s all the way through until the end of Matthew Rosenberg's run, in which Cyclops only had one eye and a bunch of X-Men had died. And all of a sudden it's miraculously healed, right? And I do remember the first pages of House of X number 1, in which it looked like Xavier was growing X-Men out of pods in Krakoa, right? Is that what was happening? Were they being transported? Were they healing them? Was he growing X-Men? Was he brainwashing them? Why is Xavier wearing Cerebro? Usually if a character is wearing a mask, there's a reason. They want to hide an identity or they want to hide a defect. I think he's got a big old head right now. I think him and Moira and Magneto concocted some kind of an idea to enhance his powers. I think he's got a big old head. I'm serious. Think about the aliens from Star Trek, the Menagerie. That's what I think. That's what I think he's going to look like. Oh, Moira is totally an Omega mutant level because I think she's the only mutant at her known power, right? So to be an Omega mutant, you have to be at the highest level of your known power set, right? Or a level that you can't get to physically or scientifically with technology or anything like that, right? What's up, Comic Blaster? Just so you know, we are doing spoilers right now for House of X Powers of 10. Just a reminder. I do not think that Xavier is the Maker because I think the Maker is already being used pretty much in the Venom stuff. But of course, the Maker is being used in Future Foundation. In the last issue of Future Foundation, they add this new element to the Maker where there's actually more Makers out there than just one, possibly, right? So that's kind of an interesting idea. So maybe it is, but I don't think it is. However, Hickman really does like the Maker, and Hickman made the Maker look like what Xavier looks like right now. Now, of course, we just recently got the what the Maker looks like out of his head. So maybe the Xavier's head being too big is too similar to that. Who knows? I don't think it's the Maker, though. Because if it was the Maker, I don't think he would have the emotional reaction that he had at the end of House of X number 4. And I got that idea from Robbie Bateman, good friend of the show. So I think that the 6th Life is all the X-Men comic books that we've read. Something happened. I think they're very soon going to show us. And in fact, if you look, some of the issues are highlighted. It was like issue number 2 of House of X. That's the one where they reveal Moira's 10 lives and all that stuff, right? And then the next ones are later on. And I think those are the issues where they're going to reveal that. I think we're going to see Moira's death in what we would call accepted X-Men continuity. All the X-Men books that we have been reading. Xavier and the X-Men against Magneto and the Brotherhood and humanity and then the forces of Apocalypse. I think that's all the 6th Life. I think it ended horribly for Moira. I think then she went to her 7th Life, went to her 8th Life, went to her 9th Life. We now know the conclusion of the 9th Life and the impact that that's going to have on the 10th Life. We also now know that the 10th Life seems hopeless. It seems like they're not going to stop the ascension of Nimrod or anything like that. And I will go ahead and point out that Mike Finley over at the PCP Army is very solid on his theory that Xavier is Nimrod. I don't think that's what's going on at all, right? But so now I think, especially with these deaths that have happened, that's 10th Life stuff, right? Unless they're doing something else crazy, and this is still tied into what came before and all those X-Men comics we've ever read, but You know that when Moira comes back in her 10th life, she tells Xavier, she reveals herself to Xavier. They talk to Magneto. Magneto agrees to join them, right? They believe it's the unity between Magneto and Xavier that will solve everything. Obviously, that's not going to happen, right? All those X-Men die. We are getting them back. Cyclops, Jean, and Wolverine for sure are in the next slate of X-Men books coming up, right? Nightcrawler, Archangel, that stuff's still a little bit up in the air. Two of my favorite X-Men, so I hope that they're not done. Just know that there are a wave 2 of announcements that haven't been announced yet. That stuff that's going to be like in December or January, something like that. But I think that's going to be announced at New York Comic Con, and I think by that point, House of X Powers of 10 will have already kind of gotten us to the point of where we need to know what we need to know to know what exactly is coming. Anyway, to me, to sum it all up, all the X-Men comic books that we've ever read, I think, are the 6th life, and they just haven't revealed that yet. They're going to reveal how it ends. Then she goes into her other lives. We now know how the 9th life ends, and the 10th life is like in a desperate, hopeless situation right now, right? And what we thought was the future of the 10th life was actually the end of the 9th life. So, as Destiny said, she gets 10 lives, 11 if she chooses right. She's going to make the right choice. That right choice is probably going to somehow be related to her sacrifice, her death, and then she will come into her 11th life. And here's where the kicker comes for me. If you look at what's been set up, in one of her lives, in the 10th life, they decide, first of all, in the 8th, is it the 8th life where she chooses to follow Magneto? Right? Yes. 6th life, we don't know what happened. 7th life, she kills the Trasks. It doesn't work. AI is just going to happen. Then she goes to join Magneto. It doesn't work. She goes and joins Apocalypse. It doesn't work, but it gives them certain information they need, like the inception date of Nimrod, basically the day of Judgment Day, in Terminator language, right? So that's what I'm thinking about that. Then she's going to make a decision. She's going to make the right decision. They've already set up this idea. If it's going to continue with these characters that have presumably died, they're going to be back because it's going to be a reset, because it's going to be the 11th life. And you could see X-Men history being a little bit different. What is going to make the 11th life different? It's not the union between Xavier and Magneto that's going to save mutants. It's going to be the peace, the alliance between Magneto, Xavier, and Apocalypse. And that's why Apocalypse is all of a sudden going to be a good guy in Excalibur. They're not doing anything crazy or anything with it. They're just going, literally, that's the key, I think, is Xavier, Apocalypse, Magneto. Those 3 have to work together is the only way that they're going to make a happy future for mutants and mankind or anything, right? Anyway, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? That's a big rambly rant, but that's what I think is going on right now. So I think the 6th life are the X-Men comic books we've already read. I think there's been a reset in between Uncanny X-Men 22 and House of X #1. Why are they coming out of pods? I don't know. That's still up in the air. Is it actually Xavier? I think so. I don't think it's the Maker. I think that's too obvious. But at the same time, something's different. Maybe all that's different is the fact that he is not Xavier anymore. He is... he's X. He's different now. Do you get what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's my thoughts. What do y'all think? Or just what do you think about the series in general? But those are my spoiler-filled thoughts about what's going on in House of X and Powers of 10. So let me know what you think. And I will remind you that we do have a podcast. So we got a new podcast coming up very, very soon. But here on YouTube, you're about to get the very first episode of this year. We took like a year break. We came back. I think this is season 4. Superheroes Movies, the podcast. It's already available on iTunes, on our website, and all that stuff, but it will be coming this week to YouTube. And I just want to point out that really cool thumbnail because I consciously made it red, white, and blue. Though it does look like a French flag, doesn't it? Anyway, so those are my thoughts and ideas about House of X Powers of 10, spoiler filled. Is anybody still here? Did we lose everybody? Everybody's like, if you're talking crazy, I'm out of it. Wolverine did go very valiantly. I really liked it. The first comment I get, I'm just glad X-Men's readable again. There have been readable bits in there, here and there, right? I think so. But this is the most excited I've been since Grant Morrison was on the book, for sure. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, everybody, and join us over at Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. Keep the conversation going there. Watching the game, still 2-0. Heck yeah. How are the Steelers doing? Anybody know? Logan's like, I'm just here processing. Y'all get what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make any kind of sense? Am I just rambling? Is this just nonsense? Well, thank you, Nelson. Like David says, hit the thumbs up button and let Robbie know you're still here. Well, I like the idea that I silenced the room. I've been thinking a lot about this lately. I've shared these ideas with a few other people, but especially after the deaths of issue number 4, I was like, oh man, this is for real what's going to happen. Now, maybe the Sixth Life is something different, but why is it hidden? It's hidden. It's hidden for a reason. Maybe it's because it's the X-Men books we've already read. It's a way to do a retcon in story and kind of make it easier to swallow. Does that make sense? But I think there's an advertisement right there, an advertisement for Aladdin. Y'all think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Aladdin's one of my favorite movies of the year. Y'all need to check out that movie if you haven't. It's on Blu-ray Tuesday. I'm going to get it. My 2 favorite movies this year are Us and Aladdin. That's wild. I would not have told you that's what I thought my favorite movies would be. Now, we didn't watch a few movies. We took a break on the movie reviews because Comics Revisited was coming up. Need I remind you? You ready for it? There it is. Comics Revisited. We took a week break, but Wave 2 starts this Thursday with What If number 3, me and Brooks. And how about them Cowboys? And, of course, the podcast is going to be re-released here on YouTube. And that kind of looks like a French flag, doesn't it? Anyway. How are y'all doing? We're about to be getting into the show and tell portion of the program. I got some really exciting things to show off here. One of them is cowboy related, and I've been waiting for this day to do a certain unboxing. Has anybody else got some ideas? Now, Mike Finley, who said his idea, he's a member of the PCP Army. I've known him for a long, long time. Finley's a great dude. His wild-ass idea of that Xavier is Nimrod. That he's going to become Nimrod. I think that's off base. I will point out that his initial idea about the whole thing after reading the first couple issues was, this is all going to be about Doom and Franklin again. Oh, no, you don't have to go back and read all those comics. If you are interested in the history of the X-Men, by all means. Essential X-Men reading. Of course, the initial stuff by Kirby and Lee, that's fun. But the Chris Claremont stuff is really where it went crazy. And it's the Cockrum and Burns stuff that's the best, at least to me. When they went into the Outback and all that stuff, I think it lost a little bit of its luster. Just a smidgen. In the X-Men, in the 90s, the X-Men were very extreme and over the top. And some of that stuff is pretty fun. Me and Brooks, for instance, this season on Comics Revisited, are going to be revisiting Fatal Attractions, which is one of our very fun, over-the-top, extreme X-Men series. But Grant Morrison's run, New X-Men, I think that is the best. So to me, read the Claremont stuff, read the Morrison stuff. But to be honest, no, you don't have to read any of it. The whole point of what Hickman's doing is it does honor what came before, but it does kind of retcon everything into his vision. If they do it the way that I think they're doing it. It would be interesting. Nimrod is a part of it, and I like the idea that this is a story about evolution, from human to mutant, but I never made the connection about human to mutant to artificial intelligence, to machine. It's always been there, with the Sentinels, with Nimrod, Bastion, all these different levels in the nanotechnology. All that stuff has always been there in X-Men lore and mythology, and the Phalanx, and all that stuff, right? It's all always been there, but Hickman has tied it all together. Hickman is just... I just finished today Nightly News because we're covering that one in Season 2 of Comics Revisited. This video I'm filming tomorrow with Brian. But Hickman is just... his stories are so well thought out. Some people don't like them, and if you don't like Hickman stuff, you're not going to like his X-Men stuff because it's pretty much still Hickman. It's amazing fun stuff. So C3 Comics, you said that you didn't read X-Men before Hickman. And are you liking the Hickman stuff? Is it making sense to you? Do you feel lost? Do you feel like, no, I'm right in there? Because if you feel lost, don't worry. People have been reading X-Men comic books for 40 years feel lost reading it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that it's starting to become a bit more clear. I think we got a couple big more revelations to come, one of them being the end of the Sixth Life, which is the end of the X-Men continuity that we know and love. But it's what I'm saying, because somebody was like, wouldn't that change everything about the Marvel Universe? No. If it doesn't directly affect Moira and what she does, Moira has the conscious choice to keep things going. She's going to want things to go the exact same way for a certain amount. A lot of the other characters, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, the Avengers, very rarely, I think, will their timelines be changed by Moira changing her timeline. Does that make sense? In fact, I think in order to make it all make sense, their timelines have never really been affected. But maybe a little bit. Little things here and there, right? But remember, Moira faked her death. We thought Moira was dead in X-Men. Okay? We already thought she was dead. She faked her death. Why? Hickman goes out of his way on her timeline to point that out, that she fakes her death in life, in one of the lives or whatever, right? I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I just think that most of the X-Men books that we have read are Life 6. But I think that Life 10 and Life 11 are going to have very similar history. What if X is Onslaught? I think it'd be cool to revisit Onslaught, but not right now, not in this way. But if Hickman wanted to throw that out there, I think it'd be neat. I have always loved the idea of Onslaught. I loved it. Like I said, I loved Fatal Attractions, and Xavier goes over the line in Fatal Attractions and pretty much just mind wipes Magneto, just takes it all out. But in doing so, took a piece, right? A piece of Magneto, and it imprinted into Xavier, and Onslaught was kind of like this repressed anger and pain from both of them kind of come to life. And I think that's a great, fantastic idea. Just every time they bring back Onslaught, they give it back to Rob Liefeld. That's not the thing to do. It could be. What if Xavier is already part machine? Maybe that's part of what they're going to have to do. I don't think so, but it could be. And that's a really interesting idea. And one of the best things about what Hickman's doing with the X-Men is it's having us here on a Sunday night on YouTube talking about what we think is going to happen. We're so excited about this book that we're having like a little book club meeting about it. And I love it. The Sixth Life is hidden because it's already happened. I think the Sixth Life is hidden because right now Hickman does not want you to know what the contents of the Sixth Life are. Then you have to ask yourself the question, why would Hickman not want us to know? Either something crazy. What could possibly happen in an alternate timeline that we don't have any kind of connection to? What could possibly be there to like shed any kind of light, right? Maybe the idea that Xavier needs to ascend to machinery, like a hybrid, right? Maybe that's it. I don't know. But I think the reason why they're hiding it is because they don't want you to know that the Sixth Life is very similar to X-Men continuity that you know, and so are other lives. So is the 10th life, right? But that doesn't mean anything. And Hickman's not against the idea of showing us something, making us think it's part of one timeline, when in fact it's actually in reality another timeline, another life. So I think that 100% Sixth Life is being hidden because they don't want us to know that it's the X-Men books we've already read. Oh, it's going to be cool, Nelson, in hardcover too, because it's all going to be collected together, right? Kind of like I loved how they collected Infinity, and they had Infinity, New Avengers, and Avengers all in the right order to read. I loved it. So I think they're going to do that with Powers of 10. House of X. Robbie, on the last issue during the suicide mission, do you think Mystique wandered off in an area that was not planned and then she was killed by being sucked into space? To be honest, I've been focused on all this other stuff. I don't even remember what actually happened to Mystique at the end of that book. I was really affected. I thought that the death scene of Nightcrawler and Wolverine was supremely well done. I thought that was absolutely astounding, to be honest with you. It was so good. And my favorite X-Men. Number 1, Beast. Number 2, Nightcrawler. Number 3, Wolverine. Number 4, Archangel. Number 5, Xavier. So don't be messing with my Nightcrawler and my Archangel. And I did say Archangel. I'm not a fan of Angel. I've never really liked Angel, but I like Archangel so much. When I was a kid, I just thought it was so badass. And Apocalypse is my favorite X-Men villain, so it kind of makes sense, right? So I'm going to have to take another look and see what happened to Mystique in that one. Colossus is awesome. Oh, yeah, that's right. But what happened to her? Do we actually see what happens to Mystique? Nevertheless, this what you're reading right now in House of X is not going to... It's not going to be what's going ahead. Okay. Well, I have to take another look at that. They still all die, though. And Cyclops and them are coming back. Now, once again, as people wanted to point out, remember the very beginning of House of X. Because another thing that's a nice little writing trick is throw a big hint and clue to everything. And very early on, right? And nobody remembers it. Because everybody got distracted by the many lives of Moira and the revelation that this future we were reading was actually another life and not the future of what we're reading right now. And then all these X-Men dying, all these crazy new ideas and concepts. It completely distracts people from the idea that, yeah, it looked like Xavier was growing X-Men in the very beginning of House of X. Like, what's up with that? You know? And if what the X-Men comic books we've read are not the Sixth Life, is it just a healing thing or something like that? And it also almost feels like Xavier's like exerting some kind of force or control on these people. There are moments where it gets really creepy, right? And why in the hell is Jean back as in her Marvel Girl garb? Like, why would she do that? What? There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Is the reason because this is a different reality? I think it's glaringly obvious there. Why is Jean Marvel Girl? Because reality is different now. It's different. Maybe she was always Marvel Girl. I don't know. Maybe that's a clue. I don't know. I'll say this. This is a writing trick. This is a writing idea. It's a rule. You can't show a gun on the first page of a comic book and not have it go off by the end of that comic book. Xavier pulling those X-Men out of pods, that's kind of like a gun. So they got to reveal they're going to reveal what that's all about, right? I love this use of a Krakoa, by the way. It's amazing. And yeah, Sabretooth is badass again. And I love it. He's always been badass, but this is so much fun. This takes everything I love about the X-Men and does something new and fresh with it. And I absolutely love it. I missed what happened, but the X-Men are up 4-0 right now. Did I say the X-Men? The Yankees? Talking about the Yankees-Red Sox game right now. Oh, yeah. That was fun. And how about them Cowboys? And don't forget, we got a podcast coming up. Comics Revisited this week. And this video has contained spoilers for House of X and Powers of 10 and may continue to do so. Anyway, ever since I started using this new program, I get all slap happy about these images. Let's just flip through them. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, once again, I want to say a nice shout out to our patrons. David, Alex, David, Adem, Shamaro Cinema, Nelson, Brian, Dean, Jason, Joe, and Brian. Lots of y'all have the same name. I'm going to make up fun little things for you. And of course, if you don't want to support us over at Patreon, you can also do it by just donating in the tip jar right over there. But you don't have to do so. Just hit that thumbs up button and we're happy. How about them X-Men? Anyway, we're about to be hitting show and tell, which means that we're nearing the end of the program. So if you have any more comments, questions about anything, movies, pop culture, comic books, a whole lot of more and all that jazz, we have some exciting announcements that I talked about on the weekly pop culture wrap-up. The incoming teasers. So it's going to be like a Marvel Point 1 type thing. So I'm excited about some of those things. But also look at that one. Look at it because they show the Alliance, Xavier, Magneto, Apocalypse. It's starting to align. It's starting to make sense. So the first thing we're going to do on Show and Tell here is we're going to open up a pop that I got a while ago. But I said when I first got it, and I showed it off here on this show. Well, it was Robbie Rants Live. Same show, right? But just now we got these cool little things that we can do like this. How cool is that? The power. Worlds within worlds. Anyway. So I got a Dak Prescott pop. And I said I was going to open it up on the opening day of the season, especially if they won. So we're going to do it. Dak. And we're going to add him to the Cowboys Pop Hall of Fame right there. Anybody have Dak Prescott on their fantasy team? How do you get to the PCP Army on the book? I would presume that the best way would be to go into the search bar and type in PCP Army and see if that brings it up. Just do a search for PCP Army. You should see it. It's a closed group, but just send us a request and we probably will approve it. That's usually what we do. There are rules and regulations, so pay attention to that, of course. But that's the way. Other than that, there should be a link to it for sure on the Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook page. So if you just type in Pop Culture Philosophers, we have a Facebook page. You can like that. Well, just go onto the Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook page. You should be able to find it through there. Right there. There it is. Dak Prescott, number 4. Just like Lou Gehrig. Just like the fantastic Reed Richards. I love that Pops does athletes. I love it. I think it's amazing. So now we're going to add Dak Prescott, Tony Romo, Dez Bryant, Troy Aikman, and Jason Witten. Yeah, there are a few I don't have. It was nice to see Jason Witten come back and have a touchdown in his first game back this year. That was amazing. Probably my favorite active player in football. Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, I got a few things I got this week I want to show off. Some Toy Biz from the 90s. You know I love my Toy Biz from the 90s. These are all Iron Man related. I moved them too far from me. Who put that damn microphone in the way? All right, they're all Iron Man related. Let's get into it. First of all, Century. What? Anybody remember Force Works or anything like that? So Century was a character in the Marvel Universe. He was featured in the 90s Iron Man animated series, in which this toy line is kind of based on. So I finally have a Century figure. I've never had that before. So I'm very excited to get that. Big shout out, by the way, these toys that I'm about to show you, these Iron Man ones. Chris Polk, fan of the show, friend of me, and member of the PCP Army, hooked me up with these. Really cool. So we got Century right there. We've got War Machine right here. Yeah. As Kiss says, you better watch out, 'cause I'm a war machine. Anyway, I will be eventually opening up these two here on the show. And that War Machine figure I did not have the Century. But I had the War Machine figure. I'm very excited to have it back. I have the Iron Man still loose somewhere over there, so I got to find that, and I can get it. Where is Ezekiel? See, that's what I love so much. First of all, with Ezekiel doing the holdout, what were they working on? They were working on their passing. They got Cobb now. They got Cooper, of course. The passing game was on fire for the Cowboys this year. And if Zeke is always the threat, it's easy to make a plan around that. They showed tonight that they're going to have to worry about more than just Zeke. And I love it. That's awesome, champ. The other one I want to show that's related to Iron Man is this. I never had this. It's the Hulkbuster. This is the very first Hulkbuster action figure ever made. This is once again part of the Iron Man Action Hour. That's right, the animated series. Oh, so the Red Sox just got a home run. Was it a solo shot? Please be a solo shot. Please. Nope. There are at least two people crossing the plate. So what is it, 4-2? Yep, 4-2. Bottom of the third, this is how the Yankees-Red Sox go. In case y'all didn't realize, I'm watching the Yankees versus Red Sox. And how about them Cowboys? Anyway, I'm going to be Someone's going to be watching this like later on in the week, just be like, this is so obnoxious, this guy. Anyway, so that Hulkbuster, that's what it's very simple. You know, I love that these toys from the Iron Man cartoon. The Iron Man cartoon had like odd like CG that was kind of like thrown in there every once in a while, like when Iron Man was putting on his suit or whatever. So I guess to replicate that, they were like, so that's a War Machine right there. But he's got like the silver armor. So if you just took that without the armor, he still looks like War Machine with all these holes in him. He looks like a Centurion or something, right? But when you put the armor on, of course, it adds this new dimension, this new element to it, and it's really, really fun, right? The Hulkbuster does the same thing, but not quite as excessively. It's got a couple shoulder pads, it's got boots, it's got gauntlets, and it's got a helmet. That's it. There's no chest piece. It's kind of lame. Because if you look on the back there, it definitely looks like that toy has a chest piece. You might recognize some of the Fantastic Four ones down there, by the way. But I love Toy Biz from the 90s, and Chris Palk, you are awesome. Thank you for hooking me up. One day I'll open these up, but not tonight. What more do you want? I've already opened up the DAC, but we are going to open up another one. So you can see him right there over my left shoulder. My He-Man, Skeletor, I forgot which way to go, and my Hordak. Well, I finally have completed Wave 1. There's the She-Ra right there. So it'd be silly not to open this one since I've opened up the other ones, right? You guys want to see me open this up? Sound off. All right, I'm going to open up anyway. So the Masters of the Universe, this new line of toys, of course, we've already gone over these. They are done to be like the old school Masters of the Universe figures and the She-Ra figure, but they are painted and colored to look like... Logan said yes, we're going to open it up. Logan, if you say it, we're doing it. But they're made to be colored like the animated series, which I think is really, really neat. Because the Hordak toy is not near as blue as that. But it's really fun. Oh, and by the way, in case y'all were wondering, if you were here when I opened up my Hordak and I was very disappointed by the cannon, no, it does go that way. I had it on the wrong way. You just have to have it kind of in a down position because if you have it up, you'll see it. But actually, it's pretty BA, to be honest. Let's see what Galactus says about it. That's right. He didn't speak anything, but that's cool. I believe you. So eventually, I feel like I'm gonna like kind of get the format of this show down. And that's some real fun stuff going on. And I feel like Galactus is going to be like my Ed McMahon. So we're going to open up the She-Ra right here. We already opened up the other three, so let's do it. Princess of Power. These figures are so dope. And by the way, there is a Wave 2, 3, and 4 already announced. And don't worry, I plan on getting them. Wave 2 is Teela, Beastman, Man at Arms, and a robot He-Man. You should have waited for the robot He-Man. Oh, I hate it when this happens. I hate it when that happens. Because I want to keep this as clean as possible, you know? Whatever. Not that it matters. If you open it up, it doesn't matter. So, of course, she has her own little power sword and her shield. Oh, man, and it's got the jewel. Holy sh... Wow, that's a really cool looking She-Ra figure. A little cloth cape on the back right there. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. But what I'm really super excited about is that her sword has the gem. Because she has... It's not the power sword. Is it the sword of protection or something like that? It's different. But she does have this, which is, I think, what the original figure toy looked like. It looked like a smaller version of the power sword by He-Man. He-Man's sword. But then it comes with another one where it has the jewel. That is so freaking awesome. Oh, shut up, David. This is even more exciting than I thought it would be because it has that. That's really cool. Then we'll put the shield on. I think it is silly that her hand is like this. It should be more like this to hold the shield, but look. Cool figure. Goes right along with the He-Man up there, the Skeletor, and of course the Hordak. So let's put her up there. Let's move Spider-Man down. This is, by the way, the Spider-Man's from Spider-Man the Animated Series Happy Meal toy from McDonald's. There you go, complete set 1. Wave 1, Masters of the Universe, redone. I love that they gave her 2 versions of her sword. That's dope. That's super cool. Well, that's show and tell. Another thing I do want to talk about, though, is I'm thinking about doing cereal reviews here on this show. But we're not doing a cereal review today, but I will go ahead and say it's officially Halloween season here at PCP. Why? Because I got my first Halloween-themed cereal today. There you go, chocolate frosted flakes, spooky marshmallows. You got a Frankenstein head, you got a vampire bat, and a ghost. Obviously a reference to the General Mills monsters. I haven't found any of those yet, but I did today find all 3 of the Apple Jacks, Fruit Loops, and the Frosted Flakes chocolate. Chocolate Frosted Flakes are dope as hell, especially when you got Tony the Tiger dressed as a vampire. I love this box. I love the back of it. Look at the references there to the monster cereals. They know what they're doing. They just mixed up the colors. They got a mummy there. Oh, I just wish General Mills would bring back Yummy Mummy and Fruit Brute again. I want all 5 at once again. C3 Comics says, go Sox. Well, more power to you, but of course I'm going to say, go Yankees. What's up, Carlos? How you doing? Let me catch you up real quick. First of all, I'm watching the Yankees-Red Sox games. The Cowboys won today. We're very excited. We got a podcast coming out this week. It's a re-release, but it's coming up on YouTube. Superhero Movies Podcast. I just like to show off this thumbnail because inadvertently I wound up making like the French flag. A new episode of Comics Revisited coming out this week. What if the Avengers had never been? And of course, this video contains spoilers for House of X. Powers of 10. And this is going to be the show. So any final thoughts, questions, let us know what's going on. Let us know your concern. Like I said, PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. Comics Revisited this week. Weekly comic book review. Join us over at Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. Patreon.com/PCP to help support the channel. You can also do so just by liking the channel. Liking the video, sharing, all that stuff. We're nearing 5,000 subscribers, so we're very, very excited. We're about to have a big contest when we hit that. Hopefully going to do it this week. So, everybody, I appreciate everything. Thank you so much. On behalf of everybody here at Pop Culture Philosophers, I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being so amazing. And once again, keep on rocking, keep on living, and keep those comments and thoughts coming, and share the channel. We're hitting 5,000 very, very soon. And go Yankees, and how about them Cowboys? Y'all have a great one. Peace out.